True review right here. Top 10 hardest video games ever.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ready or not, here we go.
XCOM Enemy Unknown. A good one to start off with because hard doesn't always mean crap, and this certainly is not a crap game. In fact, if you know what you're doing with this one, then it's actually a very enjoyable and entertaining game. The thing is though, that the difficulty curve here is such a bitch. No, actually it's more like a bottom bitch. This game does not wait for you to get used to it, and will progress the difficulty to massive heights very early on, leaving the player at a massive disadvantage to the point where you'll be losing most of your missions and getting a game over very quickly. Great game, but go into it prepared. Contra! Another great game and an absolute classic, but f*** me. 3 lives, 1-hit kills, and a screen that's constantly filled with bullets. The f***? This entry would have been higher on the list had it not been for up, up, down, down, left, right, etc, etc. The 30 lives cheat made it a little bit more bearable. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. This was the original Super Mario Bros. 2 that Japan got and no one else, because the Western version of that game was actually a different, non-Mario game that got a reskin. But eventually the West got to experience the real second game in the form of the Lost Levels, and while still invoking that classic 8-bit nostalgia, yeah, the difficulty can f*** right off.
Lane Goodman.
Super Meat Boy! As much as this game gives me a brain hemorrhage every time I play it, I can't hate it. It's so tongue-in-cheek and I love it, even when I'm dying on one particular point over and over again. The controls in this game are possibly the best in any game, which means that the levels are designed so that only 100% control and perfection will get you to the end. There is zero room for f***ups in this game. You have to be perfect at it, or you're dead. There's no middle ground. And each level is designed purely to kill you in several imaginative ways. So get used to dying in this one, because you're going to be doing it a lot. F-Zero GX. This is another game that requires 100% perfection from the player, and any slight mess up, regardless of how small it is, will mean that you'll never manage to catch up with the other racers in front of you. Now, this wouldn't normally be such an issue, if it weren't for the insane speeds that you'll be travelling at in this game, meaning that you literally have to have Jedi reflexes in order to cross the finish line, let alone win a race. In fact, coming 5th is usually a cause for celebration in itself, which is testimony to just how hard this game is. Ninja Gaiden Black. Another really good game, but Jesus Christ, this one will not go easy on you, not one bit. The first level sort of lulls you into a false sense of security in that you'll be going, okay, this is a little tough, but I think I can get through it. And then you come to the first level's boss, and that's when the shit really hits the fan. The rest of the game is an uphill struggle. In fact, if you manage to die enough times on the first level, which you probably will, then the game will give you the option of changing to easy difficulty. An option which is not available in the main menu, I might add. This one is really enjoyable once you've mastered the controls, but it's going to push your ability to an unbelievable limit. Ghosts and Goblins. Like Contra, but worse. Small amount of lives, and you go down in 2 hits. But the problem with this game is twofold. 1. Once you jump in any direction, you cannot change course or maneuver your character until he hits the ground, meaning that if you accidentally jump in the direction of a projectile, you'll just have to sit there and watch your character fly into it face first. And 2. In order to beat the game for real, you need to play it through, all the way, twice, without getting a game over or switching off the game. F*** that shit. Next.
It was those 3 words to save my life.
Guys, you knew this was coming. Dark Souls! The first rule of Dark Souls is don't get angry at Dark Souls. And the second rule of Dark Souls is stop getting angry at Dark Souls. Let's get one thing clear right now, okay? I like Dark Souls. I think it's a very good game. But Dark Souls does not like me one bit. It's an abusive relationship. I want it to love me in the same way I love it, but Dark Souls will not reciprocate my love, and it just leaves me feeling hollow and depressed inside. This game is without a doubt one of the hardest games I've ever played. There are times where you can be in, like, God mode, and fighting loads of enemies with perfect precision and timing your rolls and attacks right, and you'll still get shat on. There are times where you'll time your dodges to a T and still get hit anyway. This game doesn't include cheap deaths, but it does include as many deaths as you could possibly think of. You could spend hours upon hours just trying to get past one particular part and not even do it. Even if you manage to get past that part, you'll take a few steps forward, turn the corner and immediately get stuck on something else before even finding the next bonfire. I love the combat, the atmosphere, the environment and such, but I think the difficulty is a bit too much, to the point where it makes certain parts of the game unenjoyable to play, and it makes the player feel bad for even playing the game. And games shouldn't make you feel bad for playing them. I really like this game, but at the same time, it doesn't make me feel good about playing it, and it is notorious for being one of the most difficult games of all time. Still great though. I wanna be the guy. Okay, this one is meant to make you rage quit. That's its purpose. It's been designed purely to be unfair and cheap. Though not being impossible, it is impossible to finish a level on your first attempt, due to tons of hidden beginner's traps and other hazards that cannot be seen until you're right on top of them. This game is about trolling the player, that's all it does. And it does it quite well. Only through constant repetition of playing through each level will you finally figure out how to complete each one. This game is a dick in all intents and purposes. A one big f*** you.
One more time, got me feeling so free.
Battletoads! This game is probably an unintentional f*** you, but seriously, this game doesn't like you. It lulls you into thinking that it's not going to be that bad at first, but then it hits home with the difficulty like you'd never believe. In fact, this is the only game I can think of where having a player 2 included in your playthrough will actually make things worse. If one of you dies during a level, then you both have to restart. You can easily cause massive amounts of damage to each other by mistake, and then there's the notorious driving stage where only a select few have ever managed to finish it. The rest of us mere mortals will just have to be content with the idea that, well, not everyone can be as cool as them. And that's a wrap. But if you're a victim of domestic violence as a result of Dark Souls not loving you back and beating you into despair every time you pick up the controller, then like and subscribe to my channel to receive the necessary help to overcome this problem. Further counselling can also be found on Twitter by following @true_reviewer, or just look up True Review, for a free guide on living with Dark Souls abuse. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
I swear sometimes I think this life is killing me. I swear sometimes I think this life is killing me. I swear it's killing me. This life is killing me.